I fell in love with someone else, Mason. We should end this, Isabella declared over dinner, clutching her phone with his messages. I nodded calmly and replied, Great, but does your new guy know you'll lose everything? Her face paled as I pulled out documents that flipped her world upside down. Mason Cooper, 32, thrived as a logistics manager in Seattle's bustling port district. His days involved coordinating shipments, troubleshooting delays, and leading teams through high-stakes deadlines. Colleagues admired his quick thinking and steady demeanor, often turning to him for solutions that kept operations running smoothly. Outside work, Mason valued loyalty and generosity, maintaining tight bonds with college friends through regular meetups. He and Isabella, his wife of 5 years, hosted barbecues and game nights, where laughter filled the air and stories flowed freely. Isabella Reyes, 30, excelled as an administrative analyst at a prominent law firm in downtown Seattle. She handled complex case files, met tight deadlines, and earned praise for her precision and calm under pressure. Among friends, she shone with sharp wit and engaging tales that lightened any gathering. The couple's social circle, mostly paired up peers with shared hobbies like hiking and city explorations, gathered at least twice monthly. These events ranged from casual wine tastings to planned outings, strengthening their connections. To outsiders, Mason and Isabella embodied partnership. Their interactions sparkled with mutual understanding. Finishing each other's sentences drew playful remarks from the group. They arrived at events hand in hand, coordinating effortlessly, whether serving appetizers or recalling guest favorites. At home, they split tasks seamlessly. Mason managed groceries and repairs, while Isabella oversaw finances and planning. He pursued cooking elaborate weekend meals, experimenting with recipes to surprise her. She enjoyed curating home projects that enhanced their space without excess. Socially, they rarely separated for long during outings. Even in split conversations, they'd reunite to share laughs or inside jokes that amused everyone. No arguments surfaced publicly. Only respect and affection showed. Friends viewed them as a stable duo, immune to everyday stresses, with no hints of discord. Their life progressed predictably, built on trust and shared goals. Winter faded into spring when Isabella mentioned persistent fatigue. Long desk hours, skipped meals, and minimal activity drained her energy. One evening after a friend's dinner, she confided in Mason about needing change, not just weight loss, but renewed vitality. He listened intently, endorsed the plan, and pledged support. She researched gyms nearby, seeking a welcoming spot with quality gear and staff. After tours, she chose a sleek facility in the city center, signing up and hiring personal trainer Cody, praised for tailoring realistic programs. He outlined goals, fitting her routine, focusing on sustainable progress. Changes emerged gradually. Isabella rose early for sessions before work, restructuring mornings. Mason adapted by prepping healthier meals, incorporating fruits and lean proteins per Cody's suggestions. Their kitchen stocked with supplements and fresh items. Despite fatigue or weather, she persisted, impressing Mason with her drive. Weeks later, visible shifts appeared. Her posture strengthened, energy surged, and colleagues complimented her glow. Mason noticed boosted confidence. She experimented with fitted activewear and a fresh haircut. During friend chats, he boasted about her dedication, smiling at her transformation. Weekends evolved too. Lazy brunches gave way to market visits for organic produce and light hikes in nearby trails. Isabella shared recipe ideas enthusiastically, and Mason assisted in preparations, though he indulged occasionally. Their bond seemed fortified, turning her initiative into a joint effort. Friends observed during gatherings, praising her youthfulness and seeking tips. She detailed exercises and Cody's guidance animatedly. Mason reinforced it was her achievement, enhancing her mood and routine. Despite busier days, she attended events, sometimes arriving post-gym, earning admiration for balance. Mason appeared fully supportive, celebrating her commitment openly. One crisp Saturday, excitement built for a backyard gathering at close friends' place. The group anticipated fire pit chats and shared dishes under clear skies. Upon arrival, aromas wafted and chairs circled the flames. Isabella dove in, setting her phone to stream upbeat playlists via Bluetooth, energizing the vibe. Mason greeted others, commending her choice as conversations ignited. Talk ranged from work wins to trip plans, music blending with crackles. Isabella mingled near the fire, laughing with pals. Then, mid-chat, a WhatsApp alert pierced through speakers, her forgotten autoplay feature. A man's voice, warm and longing, echoed. "Miss you, babe. Same spot as last time. Can't wait." Silence crashed in. Laughter halted. Eyes darted to the source, then Isabella. She froze, then rushed to disconnect, but the damage hit. Friends exchanged awkward glances. Mason tensed, heart pounding, piecing clues from recent oddities. Late returns, guarded phone. He rose steadily, crossed to her, and whispered for privacy. In a secluded corner, he demanded explanation. Voice low but firm, he asked about the sender. Isabella faltered, admitting it was Cody. Their sessions turned personal months ago, gym time, mass dates. It escalated recently, drawn by his attentiveness. Mason's mind raced through delays and secrets. He probed her unhappiness, but answers stayed vague. Thrill over stability. Breath short, he ended the talk, deeming it pointless now. Returning, he masked composure, thanked hosts, and excused himself. Isabella followed silently to the car. The drive home suffocated in quiet. At the door, Mason stated their marriage ended. She'd pack essentials and leave tonight. She protested for discussion, but he stood resolute. She gathered items hastily, avoiding his gaze. Outside, a car idled Cody's. She texted him. Without words, she entered and drove off. Mason watched taillights vanish, numbness settling. Inside, the quiet amplified loss. He leaned against the wall, processing the shatter. Next morning, resolve kicked in. He phoned a lawyer friend, detailed events, and arranged a meeting. In the office, he outlined facts, receiving guidance on proceedings. Signing petitions, he initiated divorce. Assets, including their home under community property, fell under court oversight. Meanwhile, Isabella settled at Cody's. Initial days buzzed with outings and affection, but cracks formed. He vanished for clients, ignored texts, canceled plans. Inconsistencies piled, coworker hints and posts revealed flings with others. Realization hit. She swapped security for illusion. Mason leaned on friends for support. Lunches, games, outings eased isolation. He revived hobbies, enrolled in courses, attended events. The house stayed unchanged pending rulings, but he organized minimally, adding neutral touches like books and plants. Socially, Isabella's circle dwindled. Friends distanced, invitations ceased, family cooled. Frustration mounted without outlets. Legal steps advanced with hearings. Mason attended diligently, focused on fairness. Isabella avoided extras, tension palpable. In the end, Mason emerged resilient, routine balanced. Isabella faced isolation, regretting impulses. The once admired bond dissolved, proving choices weight. The days following Isabella's departure blurred into a haze for Mason. He woke each morning to a house that felt like a stranger, its silence a stark contrast to the laughter that once filled it. Yet, he refused to let the betrayal define him. Determined to move forward, he threw himself into work, tackling new projects at the logistics firm with renewed focus. His team noticed his sharper edge, channeling energy into streamlining operations and securing a major client deal that earned him quiet nods of respect. Isabella, meanwhile, settled into Cody's apartment across town. The initial thrill of her new life carried her through the first week. Late-night dinners, gym selfies, and whispered promises of adventure. Cody's charm, so captivating during their secret meetups, felt intoxicating. She posted cryptic updates online, hinting at a fresh start, expecting envy from followers. But the glow faded fast. Cody's schedule grew erratic. He'd vanish for hours, citing client sessions, leaving her alone in his cramped space, scrolling through unanswered texts. Mason's suspicions, buried during their marriage, resurfaced as he reflected. Isabella's late returns, her phone always angled away, the gym visits stretching past reasonable hours, clues he dismissed as trust now screamed deceit. He confided in his friend Ryan, a blunt software engineer who'd been at the fateful party. Over beers at a quiet bar, Ryan didn't sugarcoat. "Man, she played you. But you're solid. Don't let this break you." The words stung but grounded him. Friends rallied, inviting him to hikes or trivia nights, ensuring he wasn't alone with his thoughts. At the law firm, Isabella's colleagues began whispering. Her once pristine reputation as the reliable analyst took hits as focus slipped. She'd misfiled documents twice, blaming stress, and her usual wit dulled in meetings. Gossip about her and Cody, a known flirt at the gym, spread through office chats. A co-worker's casual mention of seeing Cody with another client at a coffee shop planted a seed of doubt. Isabella brushed it off, but the unease grew. One evening, Mason found a credit card statement buried in a drawer. Charges for dinners and boutique purchases he didn't recognize. The dates aligned with Isabella's gym nights. His jaw tightened. She'd used their joint account to fund her affair. He forwarded the evidence to his lawyer, Emily, who advised documenting everything for the divorce proceedings. Emily, sharp and methodical, outlined how Washington's community property laws would split assets, but warned that Isabella's misuse could sway the court. Mason nodded, focused on fairness, not vengeance. Isabella's new routine revolved around Cody, but cracks deepened. He'd cancel plans last minute, claiming work, yet she spotted his car downtown during one of his sessions. A quick scroll through his social media revealed flirty comments from other women, some tagged at the same bars he frequented. When confronted, Cody laughed it off, calling her paranoid. "You wanted freedom, right? Don't tie me down," he said, his tone colder than before. Isabella's confidence wavered. The attention she craved now felt like a trap. Mason, meanwhile, leaned into rebuilding. He signed up for a supply chain certification course, attending evening classes that kept his mind sharp. Friends noticed his drive, joking he was back to his old self, but better. A weekend hike in the Cascades with his buddy Sarah, a park ranger, brought clarity. As they trekked through misty trails, she shared her own story of moving past a breakup. "You don't rebuild by looking back," she said. Mason took it to heart, focusing on the present. At a friend's game night, the group avoided mentioning Isabella, but her absence loomed. Mason caught a glimpse of her latest post, a post-gym photo with Cody, captioned "Living My Truth." He swiped it away, refusing to dwell. Instead, he cracked jokes and won at cards, his laughter genuine for the first time in weeks. Friends exchanged relieved glances. Mason was healing. Isabella's world, however, tightened. Mutual friends, loyal to Mason, stopped inviting her to gatherings. Her texts to old pals went unanswered, and even her sister, usually a confidant, responded curtly, disapproving of her choices. At the gym, a receptionist's offhand remark about Cody's other regulars hit like a punch. Isabella dug deeper, finding messages on his phone to another client, mirroring the ones he sent her. The realization sank in. She wasn't special, just one of many. One night, Mason received a call from Emily. The court had scheduled a preliminary hearing to review asset division. She'd uncovered more. Isabella had withdrawn cash from their joint savings, likely for Cody's gifts. Emily assured him this strengthened his case, as it showed reckless spending. Mason felt a flicker of anger, but let it pass. "Just make it fair," he told her. He wanted closure, not a fight. Isabella, alone in Cody's apartment, stared at her phone, the screen blank of notifications. The excitement of her new life had soured into isolation. She thought of messaging Mason, an apology forming, but pride stopped her. Instead, she texted Cody, who didn't reply. The weight of her choices pressed harder. She'd traded a steady partnership for a fleeting high, and the cost was mounting. Mason ended the week at a waterfront bar with friends, toasting to his new course and a promotion at work. Their support anchored him, a reminder of what he still had. As the sun dipped below Puget Sound, he felt a shift, not full peace, but a step toward it. Isabella, miles away, sat in silence, the thrill gone, left to face the consequences of a life she'd chosen too hastily. Mason's days gained a steady rhythm, each one a deliberate step away from the chaos Isabella left behind. His focus sharpened at work, where he spearheaded a logistics overhaul that cut delivery times, earning a commendation from his boss. After hours, he dove into his certification course, acing assignments and networking with industry peers. Friends kept him grounded, pulling him into spontaneous outings, kayaking on Lake Union or late-night tacos at food truck. Their unspoken pact was clear. No pity, just presence. Ryan, ever direct, summed it up over a coffee run. "You're killing it, man." She's the one who lost. Isabella's new reality, however, unraveled faster. Cody's charm, once her escape, turned fickle. He'd leave early for client meetings, only to be spotted at bars with other women, their flirtatious banter public on social media. When she questioned him, his responses were sharp. "Don't crowd me, Bella. You wanted this life." Her attempts to join his world, tagging along to gym events, backfired. His colleagues, aware of her role in the affair, gave her cold shoulders. The gym, once her sanctuary, felt like a stage where she was the outsider. At the law firm, Isabella's performance slid further. A missed deadline on a high-profile case drew a warning from her supervisor. Whispers about her personal life didn't help. A co-worker's screenshot of Cody's latest post with another client fueled the gossip. She tried to refocus, staying late to catch up, but her energy drained faster than ever. Her sister, Maria, called once, urging her to fix this mess but offered little warmth. Old friends, once quick to text, now left her messages on read. Isolation crept in, her phone screen a reminder of bridges burned. Mason, meanwhile, kept his lawyer, Emily, updated. She'd uncovered more unauthorized withdrawals from their joint account. Cash Isabella funneled to Cody for lavish dinners and a flashy watch. Emily filed motions to freeze the account, citing misuse of marital funds. "This could tip the scales in your favor," she told Mason during a call. He nodded, resolute but not vengeful. "I just want what's fair," he said, signing off on the paperwork. The court date loomed, and he prepared methodically, gathering bank statements and receipts. One evening, Isabella showed up at a mutual friend's birthday dinner, uninvited. The group tensed as she walked in, hoping to reclaim her place. Mason wasn't there. He'd opted for a work event instead, but the air grew heavy. Sarah, the park ranger, spoke up first, politely but firmly. "You made your choice, Isabella. This isn't your circle anymore." The rejection stung. Isabella left early, her attempt at normalcy crushed. Later, she scrolled through photos of the group's recent hike, Mason laughing in the center, and felt a pang of regret she couldn't voice. Cody's behavior grew bolder. He stopped hiding his other flings, even bringing a new client to their shared apartment for a consult. Isabella confronted him, voice shaking, but he shrugged. "You knew who I was. Deal with it." She stormed out, crashing at a cheap motel for the night, her suitcase a reminder of the life she'd left. The next day, she checked Cody's phone while he showered, finding texts that mirrored the ones he sent her. Same pet names, same promises. Her stomach churned. She'd been one of many, not the exception. Mason's progress contrasted sharply. A coworker invited him to a networking event where he connected with a startup founder looking for logistics expertise. The conversation sparked ideas for a side project, something Mason hadn't considered since college. He spent weekends sketching plans, his mind buzzing with purpose. Friends noticed a shift. His humor returned, sharper now, and his steps carried confidence. At a trivia night, he led his team to victory, earning cheers and a round of drinks. "This is the Mason we missed," Ryan toasted. Isabella's breaking point came during a lunch break. A coworker casually mentioned seeing Cody at a club, arm around yet another woman. She excused herself, locked in a bathroom stall, and cried for the first time since leaving Mason. The life she'd chased, freedom, excitement, felt like a scam. She considered calling Mason, an apology half-formed, but stopped. Instead, she texted Maria, who replied, "You need to own this, Bella. No one's fixing it for you." The words hit hard, leaving her to face her choices alone. The court hearing arrived, a sterile room where Mason and Isabella sat across from each other, avoiding eye contact. Emily presented evidence of Isabella's financial misconduct, including receipts tying her spending to Cody. Isabella's lawyer scrambled, claiming emotional distress, but the judge wasn't swayed. A temporary ruling froze their joint assets and ordered mediation for the house. Mason left the courthouse steady, focused on the next steps. Isabella lingered, her lawyer's warnings about a weak case echoing. That night, Mason joined friends for a bonfire at Golden Gardens Park. The group shared stories, the fire crackling under a starry sky. Sarah nudged him. "You're stronger than this mess. You know that, right?" He smiled, nodding, feeling the weight lift slightly. Across town, Isabella sat alone, staring at a text from Cody, canceling another date. Her phone buzzed with a friend request from a former colleague, but she ignored it. The life she'd built with Mason stable, warm, real, felt like a distant dream, and the cost of her impulsiveness was clearer than ever. Mason's life settled into a new cadence, each day a deliberate move toward stability. At work, his logistics overhaul paid off, landing a contract that boosted his firm's regional standing. His boss offered a promotion to senior manager, citing his relentless drive. Mason accepted, channeling energy into mentoring his team and refining operations. Evenings were split between his certification course and side project. A logistics app idea sparked at the networking event. He met weekly with the startup founder, sketching features over coffee, his enthusiasm infectious. Friends noticed the spark returning. During a brewery meetup, Ryan clapped his shoulder. "You're building something big, man. Keep it up." Isabella's world, by contrast, spiraled further. Cody's flings became blatant. He'd leave his phone open, messages from other women piling up. When she confronted him, he smirked. "You left your husband for this. Own it." Her job at the law firm teetered. Another missed deadline prompted a formal review. Her supervisor, once an ally, warned that her personal drama was bleeding into work. Socially, she was a ghost. Invitations dried up completely. Even Maria, her sister, limited contact to brief texts, urging her to figure it out. Isabella's nights were spent scrolling through old group photos. Mason's smile a reminder of what she'd thrown away. Mason pushed forward, leaning on his lawyer, Emily, for updates. She reported that the court had flagged Isabella's unauthorized withdrawals as reckless spending, strengthening Mason's claim to a larger share of their assets. The house, still under court oversight, remained untouched, but Mason kept it functional, storing Isabella's leftover items in boxes to avoid disputes. Emily prepped him for the next hearing, advising patience. "You're in a strong position. Stay focused." He did, gathering more evidence. Bank records showing Isabella's transfers to Cody for trips and gifts. One afternoon, Isabella tried reconnecting with a former friend, Claire, at a cafe. Claire, loyal to Mason, kept it short. "You hurt him bad, Bella. Trust takes years to rebuild." The words cut deep. Later, Isabella stumbled across a gym co-worker's story. A photo of Cody with a new client captioned another conquest. Humiliation surged. She'd been played, her affair a fleeting thrill for him. She blocked his number, packed a bag, and moved to a cheap rental, unable to stomach his apartment. The solitude was crushing, her confidence eroded by rejection. Mason's momentum grew. His app prototype gained traction. The startup founder pitched it to investors, naming Mason as a key partner. At a friend's barbecue, he shared the news, earning cheers. Sarah, the park ranger, pulled him aside. "You're not just surviving, you're thriving." He grinned, feeling the truth of it. The group avoided Isabella's name, but her absence lingered like a shadow. Mason didn't dwell, focusing on the laughter and ribs he grilled to perfection. Isabella's reality darkened. Her rental was a stopgap, her savings drained by Cody's lifestyle and legal fees. At work, the review turned into a probation notice. One more slip could cost her job. She tried calling Maria, hoping for support, but got voicemail. A late-night scroll revealed friends planning a group trip without her. She typed a message to Mason, an apology for the pain, but deleted it. Pride, or shame, held her back. Instead, she emailed her lawyer, asking to settle quickly, unaware how weak her position was. The second court hearing arrived, tense but orderly. Emily presented a damning case. Isabella's spending, documented with receipts and timelines, violated their marital agreement. Isabella's lawyer argued she acted under emotional strain, but the judge leaned toward Mason, citing clear evidence. A preliminary ruling awarded Mason the bulk of their savings, with the house still pending mediation. Isabella sat silently, her lawyer whispering that fighting further would only worsen her losses. Mason left the courthouse, relief settling in, not from victory, but from progress toward closure. That evening, Mason joined friends for a trivia night at a Capitol Hill bar. He led the team to another win, his quick answers drawing laughs. Ryan toasted, "To Mason, unstoppable." The group clinked glasses, their support a constant anchor. Across town, Isabella sat in her rental, staring at a court notice outlining her shrinking share. Cody had texted, asking to talk, but she ignored it. Her choices replayed in her mind, leaving Mason, chasing a fantasy, losing her circle. The weight was hers alone. Mason's side project gained steam. An investor offered seed funding, pushing him to refine the app. He spent weekends coding and hiking, balancing work with moments of peace. Friends kept him busy, movie nights, board games, a planned kayak trip. The house, still in limbo, felt less oppressive. He'd added a small desk for his work, making it his own. Emily called with an update. Mediation was set, and Isabella's team was pushing for a quick resolution, likely conceding most assets. Isabella's probation at work tightened her focus, but the damage was done. Colleagues kept their distance, and her reputation as the sharp analyst faded. She tried joining a new gym, hoping for a reset, but fell out of place, her energy sapped. A call from Maria finally came, but it was blunt. "You need to rebuild, Bella. Start with honesty." Isabella nodded to the empty room, knowing she'd face the consequences alone. Mason ended the week on a high, presenting his app at a startup pitch event. The room buzzed with interest, and he left with 2 potential partners. At a friend's rooftop hangout, he shared the milestone, the city skyline glowing behind them. Sarah raised a glass to new beginnings. Mason smiled, feeling the past loosen its grip. Isabella, miles away, opened a legal email confirming the mediation date. The life she'd upended for a fleeting rush was gone, and the cost was clearer than ever. Mason's life surged forward with purpose. His promotion to senior manager came with a corner office and a team to lead, his logistics expertise now shaping company strategy. The app project gained momentum. The startup founder secured a second investor, and Mason spent late nights refining code, his vision taking shape. Friends kept his spirits high. Weekly trivia nights and kayaking trips filled his calendar. At a group dinner, Sarah toasted his progress. "You're not just back, Mason. You're unstoppable." He laughed, feeling the weight of the past fade. Isabella's world, however, crumbled further. Her probation at the law firm ended with a termination notice after another missed deadline. The office gossip about her affair with Cody had cemented her isolation. Colleagues barely acknowledged her exit. Her rental, a stark contrast to the home she'd shared with Mason, felt like a cage. Cody had moved on, his social media now flaunting a new girlfriend, a client from the gym. Isabella's texts to him went unanswered, her role in his life reduced to a fleeting chapter. Maria, her sister, offered tough love in a rare call. "You broke something good, Bella. Fix yourself first." The words lingered, unanswered. Mason prepared for the final court mediation with calm resolve. Emily, his lawyer, had built an airtight case, documenting Isabella's misuse of joint funds with bank records and receipts. The house, their last shared asset, was the focus. Mason wanted to sell it and split proceeds fairly, but Isabella's reckless spending tilted the scales. Emily advised, "You got the upper hand. Stay steady." He nodded, focused on closure, not revenge. He packed the last of Isabella's belongings into labeled boxes, ensuring no disputes over personal items. Isabella, meanwhile, scrambled to stabilize her life. With no job, she took a part-time admin role at a small agency, a steep fall from her legal career. Her savings, drained by Cody's lifestyle and legal fees, left her scraping by. She avoided mutual friends, knowing they'd sided with Mason. A late-night scroll through old group chats showed photos of him hiking with Sarah and Ryan, his smile genuine. Regret gnawed at her. She'd traded a steady partnership for a mirage. She drafted an email to Mason, apologizing for the betrayal, but sent it to her lawyer instead, unsure if it would help. The mediation session was tense, held in a sterile conference room. Mason sat composed, Emily by his side, presenting evidence of Isabella's financial misconduct. Isabella's lawyer pushed for a larger share of the house, citing her emotional state, but the mediator dismissed it, pointing to clear records. The ruling came swiftly. Mason would receive 70% of the house's sale proceeds, with Isabella getting the rest after legal costs. The joint savings, already diminished, were split similarly. Isabella signed the agreement silently, her face unreadable. Mason left without a word, the final tie severed. Post-mediation, Mason listed the house, accepting an offer within weeks. He used a share to buy a sleek condo near Pike Place Market, a fresh start. Friends helped him move, turning it into a lively housewarming with pizza and music. Ryan raised a beer to Mason's new chapter. The group cheered, their support a constant anchor. Mason felt lighter, the condo a space to rebuild on his terms. Isabella's life stagnated. Her new job offered no growth, and her social circle remained barren. She tried reconnecting with a former colleague, but the response was curt. You made your choices. Maria visited once, urging her to seek therapy, but Isabella brushed it off, clinging to pride. Late at night, she found an old photo of her and Mason at a friend's wedding, his arm around her. The memory stung. She dismantled a life others envied for a fleeting thrill. Mason's app launched a beta version, drawing praise from early users. He presented at a tech conference, earning a standing ovation and a third investor's interest. Weekends balanced work with adventure, hiking Mount Rainier, sailing with friends. Sarah, ever candid, told him, "You've turned pain into power. That's rare." He smiled, knowing she was right. The condo, now filled with books and plants, felt like his own, free of past shadows. The divorce finalized quietly, a court email confirming the end. Mason celebrated with a quiet dinner at a waterfront restaurant, joined by Ryan and Sarah. They swapped stories, laughter echoing over the table. He didn't mention Isabella. She no longer defined his path. Across town, Isabella received the same email. She sat alone in her rental, the screen's glow illuminating her regret. A text from Cody popped up, asking for a catch-up, but she deleted it. The life she'd chased had collapsed, leaving her to face the consequences alone. Mason's future brightened. His app secured full funding, and he hired a small team, balancing it with his day job. Friends planned a group trip to Alaska, and Mason led the charge, booking cabins and mapping routes. At a bonfire on Alki Beach, he shared the news, the group's cheers mingling with crashing waves. Isabella, meanwhile, started therapy at Maria's insistence, taking the first step toward accountability. It was slow, painful work with no quick fixes. Her choices had reshaped her life, a lesson in the cost of impulsiveness.